The offense that scored a lot of points under the direction of Dick Vermeil, the St. Louis Rams' greatest show on turf. Let's bring in a coach, should be a Hall of Famer by way of San Jose State, Del Mar High School, Super Bowl champ with the St. Louis Rams, of course, and they had the greatest show on turf, and he knows all about the Rams-Niners rivalry. Dick, good morning. Thanks so much for joining the Morning Roast. Joe Shashkin, the Butcher, Bonte Hill.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely, Coach. So let's just dive right into it. We got Niners-Rams, round 3. We're all fired up. Niner fans can't wait to go take over SoFi Stadium down in L.A. But now when you're the coach with the Rams, you guys were in St. Louis, and you guys had lost 17 straight to the 49ers. And then that one Sunday, the year you guys went to the Super Bowl, you put it on the 49ers. So can you take us behind the scenes there, getting ready for that game, knowing that the Niners, the NFC West division rivals, basically it made you guys the little brothers. What was that just like before that game, before you stomped the Niners 42-20?
Well, at that time, I that was going into our third year. I felt we were ready to beat a good football team. Steve Mariucci, a fine football coach, and they had a good team. They were in the playoffs the year before, and we had already beaten Atlanta Falcons, who had been in the Super Bowl. So I felt it was time, and I think the entire team felt it was time to eliminate the 49ers saying as well, same old Rams, when they were kicking the hell out of us. But I was part of those 4 defeats of the 17 in a row my first 2 years at the Rams, and I really felt we were ready to beat them, and fortunately we did.
Coach, you obviously had the connection with Bill Walsh, and you understood what this particular area meant. Back then, obviously you guys moved to St. Louis, but there was still that rivalry between the two organizations. For you personally, because McVay has connections to the Niners right now, what did it mean to knock off the 49ers? Did it mean more than maybe some of the other divisional foes in the NFC West?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did, and I'll tell you why, because I think it gave credibility to the quality of the football team. I knew we were going to be good, and of course we thought Trent Green was going to be our quarterback, and he got hurt, and now Kurt Warner's playing, and he's playing lights out these first few games of the season, and then I started thinking big, and I can remember to this day, as I look at a picture of Bill Walsh and I and Mike White that was taken pregame of that football game and sitting here on my desk. And going in on Monday after beating the 49ers for the first time in 17 games and saying to the squad and complimenting them and everything else and say, guys, you know something? There's only one team in the National Football League that can beat this football team. And fortunately, they're all sitting in this room.
Wow.
Now, I don't want anybody in this room to go out and repeat what I've said. I don't want to read it in any kind of radio show or hear it in a radio show or read it in a news article. But this football team can win it all if we keep doing what we're doing. And, not one player ever mentioned that conversation after that. And, and they made it all come true. So that game was the game that told me we are ready.
Coach, I've admired you from afar for a long time. I have a poster in my garage. It's you and Bill Walsh during the San Jose State-Stanford game from like 10 or 15 years ago. And I've always admired your story and your passion for life. Can you give us a Bill Walsh kind of behind the scenes? Because I think a lot of people have grown up hearing about Bill, and now we're getting a little bit of seeing him on this Peacock doc for Joe Montana, this documentary that's come out. But you knew the man. Who was the man, Bill Walsh?
Well, first off, he was a passionate football guy. I knew him. I was a player at San Jose State, and he was a graduate assistant, and we became friends. I was going to do my student teaching at Washington High School in Fremont with Bill, where he was the head football coach. And before I could do that, he became an assistant at Cal, okay? So I've known him a long time, and we became very close. And I think he, as much as anybody, is as much responsible for me for going back into coaching after 14 years out of it, because we vacationed together at his home in Tahoe. We saw him every year at his home there on the peninsula, in a beautiful place. And he always said, Dick, a man ought to do what he does best, and you should be coaching. You should be coaching. And he would have been in the wine business I'm in today. Yeah. Because, we shared a lot of nice glasses of wine together, a lot of football stories, a lot of leadership stuff, because he was a great reader of leadership materials, and we shared a lot of thoughts, and I learned an awful lot from him. But He had also a sense of humor that most people didn't recognize if they didn't know him well. He could really be funny, okay? And anyway, I miss him. I see Jerry every year. We have dinner together every year when I'm in California, and she's a special lady. So I've got pictures all around my office of Bill Walsh because he was an inspiration to me, and he believed in me maybe more than I believed in myself.
Wow. You know, Dick Vermeil here on the Morning Russell on 95.7 The Game, former Super Bowl winning coach with the St. Louis Rams, of course, knows all about the Rams-Niners rivalry. Now in this documentary about Joe Montana on Peacock, because it's truly fascinating. And Shasky and I are 39 years old, so we're a little young on the side of the quarterback controversy between Steve Young and Joe Montana. But you're in that doc, and you had a lot of conversations with Bill Walsh because Bill Walsh would feel burnt out. Are you surprised that Bill Walsh never came back to coach in the NFL? Like, you took years off after Philadelphia because you started burnout. You know, you said, hey, I need some time off. Mm-hmm. You started announcing you're a great color analyst on ABC for those college football games. But then you come back later in your career, you coach the Rams and you coach the Chiefs. Are you surprised Bill Walsh never came back to coach in the NFL?
Not really. He had it. He had done it. Yeah, I think he felt he left the organization in great shape. You know, George Seifert is a Hall of Fame football coach. You just look at his record. It's better than most, believe me. It's certainly better than mine. And, I never heard him say, I'd like to coach in the NFL again. I never heard him say that, you know. And he enjoyed Stanford. He loved Stanford University.
Right.
And we worked there together, along with Mike White and Rod Rust and Leon McLaughlin and these kind of guys. No, he loved it. But I never heard him say, I'd like to coach in the NFL again. And when he coached at Stanford, remember when he beat Notre Dame?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Upset Notre Dame.
I remember the statement he made. This is the biggest win of my career, he said. He'd won Super Bowls, but he so much loved Stanford University. Yeah.
I love it. Coach, I want to go back to your time at St. Louis. I don't think you get enough credit for being an innovator, how you used Marshall Faulk. Mm-hmm. Like, you really used him between the tackles, used him as a pass catcher. It was an evolutionary step to what you're seeing now in the NFL. And then you go to Kansas City, you do the same thing with Priest Holmes, and then you utilize the tight end in Tony Gonzalez. I'm looking at Kyle Shanahan's offense and how they're using Deebo Samuel. As a former coach who's very innovative, what are you seeing from Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel?
Well, first off, Kyle Shanahan is an unbelievable football coach. He takes after his dad, who I think is a Hall of Fame football coach. But our offense in St. Louis was really the innovation of Mike Martz, my offensive coordinator, and my offensive coaching staff. Al Saunders, my gosh, Jim Hannafin, these John, Ramsdale, Wilbert Montgomery. These guys did a beautiful. John Matsko, who's still coaching in the league, they did a beautiful job with. I was the head coach, yes, but they were the offensive coaches, and I had a say in it, listen, but I learned as much as the players did from Mike Martz and that staff, believe me. And they were the guys that were really the innovators of that and the utilization of Marshall Faulk, who probably is the most truly gifted athlete that I ever had the opportunity to deal with. But I don't like taking credit for something I think belongs in the hands of the guys that actually did it.
Well, what do you think of Deebo? Specifically when you see Deebo Samuel on the field, he's so unique. He's a wide receiver who can play running back, but he can also catch the ball down the field. He provides so many problems for an opposing defense.
He is what ought to be called the great wide receiver, okay? Everybody uses the term great wide receiver too often today. All NFL receivers catch the ball extremely well. None of them advance the ball after the catch any better than Deebo. My God, to me, he is the number one receiver in the league.
Wow.
And because of his total capacity to enhance a well-designed play, catch the ball, and then make it explosive. And there are guys that catch the ball extremely well. In fact, they all catch the ball better today than they ever have in the history of the league. Everybody makes one-hand catches today. They are not unique, but he is unique in how explosive he is after he catches the football. There also is an air of toughness about him as a wide receiver that I think trickles down into everybody that's on the field with him. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Dick Vermeil here on the Morning Roast,
Legend.
Super Bowl winning champ. Also led UCLA to a big-time Rose Bowl victory in 1975 against Ohio State. Yes, Coach, we've watched your football life, and we were fascinated by it. I got to ask you about the Rams, though, because Sean McVay, a nice young coach in his own mind, just celebrated his 36th birthday. What do you see with this variation of the LA Rams? They run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, 1-back sets. They don't use a fullback. How do you look at their offense and Matthew Stafford with the way he's controlling what they're doing in the postseason?
Well, Matthew Stafford made a great decision in coming to where he would be surrounded by a great coaching staff. Not that he wasn't in Detroit, but also great players, a great management team. And this guy, Sean McVay, is destined to be one of the all-time coaches. You can imagine how good his offense will be after 20 years of coaching it. Look at Andy Reid's offense. How good it is today. Was it always that good? No, but it got better every year. And you start backing up year after year after year of learning and correcting the mistakes that you made and defining game plans better because you've experienced so many games in your career. I can't imagine how good he's going to be 5 years down the road. And he's one of the best there is today. And I relate to myself at 36 years old. I could no more do what he's doing than the man on the moon. Believe me. Yeah. He's spectacular.
Yeah. Let's go to the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers because you talked about Stafford there. You're living in Philly, and you know that McNabb over there and really never got the credit that he properly deserved. And the team kept going to these NFC championship games, eventually getting to a Super Bowl but not winning it. I feel like the same thing's happening for Jimmy Garoppolo, where he's underappreciated. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo and how we should view him as San Francisco 49er fans?
You probably can't put Jimmy in the category of the guys we just saw play this last weekend and the Rodgers and those kind of guys as the innate passer, but you can say he's a winner, and he's going to make a mistake once in a while. Hey, Matthew Stafford, 17 interceptions in the last part of the season? They all make mistakes. But how Kyle utilizes him and takes advantage of his talents, the great play action, as good a designed running game as there is. And I think Father Mike Shanahan's got to be a little above that because he's a great football coach as well, and he passes along things on. I don't want to take credit away from Kyle, but I think they really utilize him well. And the more he plays, I think the more disciplined and structured he'll become in eliminating the bad play. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can eliminate a bad play. They just can't eliminate it because the defense coaches are getting paid well too today.
Yeah.
So, but I'm impressed with. I like his toughness too, and I like his ability to make a bad play and then come back and make a good one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Coach, go ahead, Coach.
And they have a hard time putting it back on.
Yeah.
But I see that in him, and I'm not an authority on anybody anymore.
No, Coach, you're selling yourself short. You're one of the all-time minds.
A great winemaker as well.
People.
And Coach, since you brought up Kansas City, people forget you had some great football teams in Kansas City.
I love Priest
Your
Holmes.
offense, Dante Hall, Priest Holmes, Tony Gonzalez, Trent Green. You guys were lighting it up. Very enjoyable to watch. You brought up Andy Reid and Mahomes. This is next-level stuff. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They don't even run the ball, Coach. What about Kansas City? Are they the favorites right now in this Final Four to win it all?
I can't see anybody beating them. I really can't. But, you still have to play the game Sunday, and you only have to be the best team game day.
Yeah.
all the things you did to get there are not important anymore.
Yeah.
You only have to be the best team in the country one day.
Right.
And if you get a higher percentage of your best players playing their best game on the same day, you're going to win it.
Yeah.
You're going to win it. And, they have so many players that have the ability to have a best day ever.
Yeah.
When is Kelce going to play any better than he has in the past? He's doing it. And the little guy and Mahomes, the plays he's making, he's much more structured and disciplined the second half of the season.
Yes.
You can become too confident as a quarterback. And I really felt that happen to Patrick, that he got so confident he thought any ball that could leave his hand would only go to the right guy, and it doesn't work that way. And I think Andy has done, who's a better coach than Andy Reid? Nobody.
Yeah, he's so good. It's a great point about the 20-year thing, too. He's much better now than when he was in Philadelphia, and he was really good in Philadelphia. Coach, take me behind the mindset of both of these coaches, McVay and Shanahan. They play each other every year, okay? They played twice already this year. They just played 3 weeks ago. Who does the advantage go to? How hard is it to beat someone 3 times in one season from a coach's perspective?
Well, the advantage goes to the team that's been beaten a few times in a row. Because good teams aren't normally going to lose 3 or 4 times in a row to the same good team. It is so hard to beat good teams. You can beat poor teams many times in a row, but to beat good teams 3 and 4 times in a row is very, very difficult to do. And you've got to give the coaching staff, Shanahan and those people, credit. Excuse me, I got to get rid of this.
You're all
Coach,
good.
it's all good.
Coach, I was just looking at your season with the Eagles when you guys advanced to the Super Bowl and lost to the Raiders. I'm saying, dang, did you guys beat the Cowboys 3 times, but you beat them twice? You beat them once in the NFC Championship game early in the season, but they got you the last regular season game. So we're a little concerned here being in San Francisco about beating the Reds. Not only would it be 3 times this year, Coach, it'd be 7 in a row overall. So I know the Rams have a nasty taste in their mouth right now.
Well, you remember they did it 17 times in a row.
They had Steve Young, though, Coach. They had Steve Young and Joe Montana.
It's going to be. I can't wait to the game. It's going to be an outstanding game. 2 teams extremely well coached, and I think it'll come down to number 1, who takes the ball away or who doesn't give the ball away. Mm-hmm. Number 2, who doesn't commit a foul when a big play has been executed and called back because someone grabbed a jersey and held on to him, or someone was called for holding, or what official makes a bad call and costs a guy a game? Right. And that's all. All those things happen in tight, big games.
That's a great point. Mm-hmm. Coach, come on with us again. We love hearing from you. The audience loves you.
Hold on. What about the wine? What's going on with the wine right now, Coach?
What's going on with the wine?
Well, I'm proud to say it's the first time in 13 years of Vermeil wine business in the Napa Valley that we're in the playoffs. We're doing well. My organization, our people, Thomas Brown, Andy Jones, our wine people, and Andrew Curry and Kayla Jordan, who run the tasting room in Napa, they're doing a great job. And we're in the playoffs. We're doing well. And we're making outstanding wines, and not a lot of it, but it's all very good.
What's your favorite blend?
My favorite is the Cabernet, 100% Cabernet, either the Rosedale block or the Pickett Road block. We make about 130 cases of each of those. Ooh. Very high-end quality Freddie Annie vineyard in the Calistoga. My great-grandfather, Garibaldo I. Carey, a very successful San Francisco businessman, used to own a portion of that vineyard. So I'm connected to the hip with that one. But those 2 Cabernets are normally my favorite.
I'm going to go check that out.
I'm checking it out right now, Coach.
We're going to go check that out. I go up to the Russian River a lot, Coach. I'm about to get my wife a couple of these bottles.
Vermeil Red Wines, I'm seeing it's nicely priced. It's not too expensive. Looks very, very good, Coach. You might have to get on this.
All right, try it. You'll be surprised how good they are.
Thank you so much, Coach. Please come on again.
Take care.
All right, Coach. Coach Vermeil, a winner in college, a winner in the pros, a winner in high school.
I love
Rose Bowl champ,
Vermeil,
Super Bowl champ. Knows offense. Gave a lot of credit to Mike Martz, who will join us tomorrow at 8:30. Mike Martz.
Way.
Yeah, he's going to join us at 8:30.
What a week for you.